Hello, my loyal minions. Welcome back to my second long-form video. Today, I'm going to draw, drumroll please, Expresso cookie. Look at this man. He is beauty, he is grace, he has a tired look on his face. Okay, so you're probably wondering where the sketching process is, right? Well, it turns out that Fire Alpaca's time-lapse function sucks ass. Okay, so I didn't use it often before, but since I'm doing long-form content, I was going to start. And it was going great. Until I had just finished my sketch. But of course, my tablet decided to go update itself right there and then. There was nothing I could do but sit there and wait anxiously for it to finish. Hoping, praying that my progress would still be there. But no. To my absolute horror, everything had disappeared. And even though I scoured the internet for a way to bring it back, there was nothing. It was gone. Well, anyway, now I'm screen recording my progress. Hopefully, this will work better now. And as long as I make the videos long enough, it shouldn't look like a mess. Because if it does, I'm gonna fucking... Expresso Cookie is a fascinating character. He is very serious about everything. He refuses to engage in distractions and is a humongous workaholic. Another thing he hates is mediocrity, both with himself and others. Something that I enjoy about his character is how he speaks. He basically is just very brief and it usually comes off as rude. Okay, so everything he does comes off as rude. But the thing is, he doesn't actually mean to be rude. Like, for example, it confuses him when others say that, as from his perspective, he's just saying what's needed to be said. And I feel that entirely. Though I can tend to talk too much and am very blunt unintentionally, and I struggle with tone and understanding how people are taking what I'm saying and knowing when it's not okay to say something. Okay, back to Expresso Cookie. He despises small talk and sees it as quote-unquote incompetence and delays, but he can do it if needed. The most important thing in his life, though, his research on coffee magic. It's to the point that he drives his students away just so he has more time for it. Despite that, many of his students still insist on coming. Want to know how Expresso Cookie responds? He makes them prove their dedication to the craft. And, as you can probably guess, that isn't exactly an easy task. Though, for those who can impress him, he immediately holds them in high regard and doesn't hesitate on complimenting them. Truthfully, he's just a big sweetheart. Look at this pose. When I saw it, I just knew I had to use it for him. I mean, just look at it. You can't disagree with me on this. It's literally perfect. Anyway, as those from the coffee tribe. So we still don't know if he ever lived there or how he or his ancestors got to the capital. Okay, now I know his eyes are supposed to resemble coffee beans, but I didn't read the wiki until after I finished drawing him. So if you're upset, you can suck my dick. His hair goes just above his shoulders and is a dark ebony. Whatever that means. With the spiral design on the side that covers his eye. That I definitely didn't struggle with. Definitely. Anyway, I got so mad, as you can probably see, his outfit covers his knee. Specifically, the one I spent so long on trying to make it look good. Why is it like this? On the topic of his clothes, why does it have to be so complicated? They even mention it on his wiki. Though it did turn out kind of bomb, not gonna lie. Some key points of his character are how, like me, he struggles with taking care of himself, both physically and mentally. His standards are just way too high, even for himself. I feel that's so hard though. Don't let me get started on my job. He often forgoes his sleep for more time researching, which leads to exhaustion, and most definitely doesn't help with his annoyance towards specific things. One thing that's interesting about him, though, is he despises light magic. That might confuse some of y'all, which makes sense. I mean, isn't light magic, good? And it is. But in the Cream Republic, they have a bit of a, let's say, classes system, with there being the lower class and the higher class cookies, with the high society being very focused on light magic. Can you guess where Expresso Cookie lives? That's right, with the lower class cookies. Though, even with this disdain, it doesn't stop him from having some semblance of respect for those who show dedication, skill, and sincerity. Those like Madeline Cookie! Now, at first, to put it bluntly, Expresso Cookie hated Madeline Cookie with a passion. Madeline Cookie was quite literally his foil. He is overwhelmingly positive, very chatty. He grew up in the high society, is easily distracted, and even his color palette is the contrast of Expresso Cookies. It was to the point that the normally blunt and logical Expresso Cookie would end up literally losing his cool. From his perspective, it makes sense why Expresso Cookie despised Madeline Cookie. But to the duo's dismay, they were forced together in the story, couldn't care less, and yet. The story starts with Snow Sugar Cookie requesting Expresso Cookie, Madeline Cookie, and Alchemist Cookie to help build a theater. To no one's surprise, Expresso Cookie avoided Madeline Cookie like the plague. During a battle, though, they both ended up very hurt. And in a surprising twist of character, Expresso Cookie helped Madeline Cookie home and even insisted he got treated before himself. And it changed how he saw him. As the two interacted more and more, irritation and hatred slowly turned into respect and adoration. Of course, with mild irritation and bickering, but that's not the point. Now you're probably thinking, there's no way the fandom shipped them, right? Right? Look at these love bugs! There's definitely no not safe for work art of them. Definitely. Trivia time! Did you know Expresso Cookie hates anything that's not plain coffee or espresso? He especially despises lattes. In fact, the only time he's been shown drinking one was in Chapter 2 of Cookie Odyssey. Wanna know why? 'Cause there was no other option! Look at his face! As I mentioned earlier, he was a teacher at Parfadia Institute. It turns out his classroom was right next to Eclair Cookie's office. One funny thing that I recently found out is that apparently he dyes his hair? Well, according to Almond Cookie at least. Okay, so that's the in-universe trivia, but what about the game trivia, you might ask? Well, there's two interesting facts you might not have known about. In an early update of the game, one loading screen had an interesting tidbit about Expresso Cookie. It said, if you ever get to know Expresso Cookie better, you'll see that he's very particular about his outfits. Now you might be wondering, why is that so interesting? I mean, it's a cool tidbit, sure, but it's not all that exciting. Though for some reason, they patched it out. I mean, it's pretty obvious just from his character and how he dresses that he's particular with what he wears. So why take it out of the game? No idea! They haven't commented on it, so I guess we just gotta accept it. Another interesting fact that you may have seen is, if you look on Expresso Cookie's Gacha page, you might notice a few watermarks? Yep, there are two watermarks that can be found. One is of a camera, and the other is of the company 123RF. They definitely forgot to take them out, but it is interesting. In general, from his personality to his design, I may even ship him with you-know-who. I really like how my drawing of him turned out. I'm confident that I encapsulated his character well, but what do you all think? I'd love to hear your opinions and critiques in the comments. And how do you feel about this format? Anything you'd like to see me do differently? Anything you particularly liked? I'm excited to hear how you feel about everything. Please consider checking out my car page where I post my art and updates on what's going on in my life. As well, check out my Ko-Fi. There you can order commissions, get my art without a watermark, and if you live in Canada, you can order stickers. Thank you so much for watching my video. And if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. Have a great rest of your day while you wreak havoc across the world. Until next time, my loyal minions,